Check out our brand new website for our new full line of merch, read up about how we started our channel, links to other social media accounts, and email us for any questions that you might have. We hope that you guys enjoy the video. Stop motion is a sequence of frames played to give the illusion of motion or life to any object you are filming. So you want to learn how to make a stop motion animation movie? First, you need an idea, a grand plan for your masterpiece. It doesn't have to be complicated, but you also don't have to limit yourself, and you can go big. Once you have an idea for a film, we can get started on the process. So my first bit of advice for you is to go and watch some movies, but watch them with a critical eye. What I mean by a critical eye is not to criticize everything about the movie, but to look at the movie with a filmmaker's perspective and take some notes on some things that you like from the movie, the shot selection, the colors they used in the film, the way the characters talk, etc. One thing you must learn about making any film, and especially stop motion animation, is that they take quite a bit of time to make. So you want to have taken your idea for a story and know that story well before making your film. A strong story is the backbone of every film and almost everything in art. What kind of story do you want to tell? Simple stories are sometimes the best kind, and the animation company Pixar Animations has mastered the art of telling short stories. Look up some of Pixar's short films on YouTube, and you'll see what I mean when I say they have mastered the art of storytelling. What messages do you want your movie to convey? What do you want your audience to feel when they watch your film? The beauty of filmmaking is that it is a visual art medium, so you have so much power with the image. Show, don't tell is a great rule of thumb when it comes to making movies. All great plans have a blueprint, and the blueprint for your film is called a script. A script gives you a written version of your movie, almost like a book. You'll write out the locations the scene happens in, what the characters say in a certain scene, and much more. It can be as simple or as complicated as you like. I've made some pretty extensive scripts in the past, but I found that I'm more of a visual person, so storyboards is where I like to put in a lot of the details. Storyboarding is like a visual script for your film and will help you immensely in the production stage of your film. The storyboard is almost like a comic book or a frame-by-frame drawn image of important frames in your film. All you need for a storyboard is a pen or a pencil and a couple pieces of paper. If you Google storyboard template, select on the one that resembles a storyboard that I have on the screen right now and print a few off. Start by drawing the scenes out and pick the most important shots or frames that will help you film it. Go ahead and try to make your own right now using the steps I listed in this video. If you've seen behind the scenes footage of those big budget live action movies, you'll notice that they use a lot of green screen. There are dozens of people on the set filling every little job that has to be done on a movie set. The beauty of stop motion is you are the director, so you can make it as big or as small of a set as you like. Let's say you are filming a scene in a hospital. You can choose to build the entire hospital, or you could save time and only build what the camera sees. A good rule of thumb is to build a few walls around the set that you're going to need, and then point the camera in there and see what needs to be covered for the set, and build on from there. This will save plenty of time in the long run. But remember, you only have to build what the camera sees. It is important to put in the time and work into pre-production to ensure a smooth production experience. And now that you've done that, let's get into filming. The first thing you need to know is light. Lighting, lighting, lighting. We can't see anything without light, and your film will be unwatchable without it. Lighting creates an atmosphere for your scene and can even stir up specific emotions from your audience for certain lighting techniques. 3-point lighting. Not surprisingly, it consists of 3 light sources: the key light, the fill light, and the backlight. Key light is the main source of light on your subject, say this little Lego minifigure dude. Next, your fill light lights up his dark side, and the backlight lights up the back. It helps him stand out from the background, creating depth. Depth is what you're going for with lighting. If you have a favorite scene from a movie, try mimicking the lighting in your own movie with a little experimentation, even adding colored bulbs or colored parchment paper in front of your lights. Your local hardware store or even big box store carries nice little desk lamps which work great for lighting a small set. And that's what we started with. Our lights of choice that we use for our stop motions are softbox lights with fluorescent bulbs, which can be found on Amazon for relatively affordable prices. They take up quite a bit of room, but they will give you the most consistent and coolest lighting of the group. A few desk lamps will get the job done if you're just starting out, and then you can look into upgrading. One way you can really liven up your shots is to have practical lighting in the scenes. It adds some realism to your shots and makes it feel less like a stage. There are a few options you can use for on-scene lights, such as flashlights and mini brick lights that LEGO themselves make. But we found that non-battery powered light is the way to go, so you can be sure that your light won't die halfway through a shot. The company Game of Brick sent us a few of their samples, and they make mini brick lights that fit inside of LEGO. They are super bright and very affordable. You can add a lot of life and light into your shots with these mini brick lights. If you've ever tried your hand at stop motion before, I can almost guarantee you've had some sort of problem with light flicker in your film. This can be caused by the clouds moving in front of the sun every so often, reflective clothing worn by the animator, external lights being left on and casting shadows onto the set, and or lights that shutter or have a very slow frequency on them. A little bit of flicker is okay in a film, but a copious amount can be distracting to watch and looks unprofessional. So how can you eliminate this common enemy? Step 1. Close the blinds. Don't let any natural sunlight come onto your set. Step 2. Turn off the room lights and use only your set lights. It gets rid of shadows from you in your shot. Step 3. Wear black or non-reflective clothing. This ensures that you won't cause any flicker on set. I hope that you're as excited as I am to talk about cameras. This is one of my favorite aspects of filmmaking, and I want you to know right away you can start making stop motions with whatever you have. Almost anything can work, and feature-length movies have been shot on cameras that are lower quality than your iPod camera. So fear not. Gear does not make the movie. You do. Now that we have that out of the way, let's discuss this. There's a great free app called Stop Motion Studio that you can download from either Google Play or the App Store. For now, all you need to know is that a smartphone or tablet can work great for starting off and seeing if stop motion is something you'd like to pursue more. DSLR cameras have detachable lenses, which means that you also have to keep them in mind, as they all have a certain purpose or task which they are built for. We use the Canon SL1 DSLR camera with the kit 18 to 55mm lens, and it works amazingly for stop motion. It is on the cheaper end of the DSLR spectrum, and you can find one of these guys for between $400 and $500 with the lens included. Some lenses have an option to switch between manual and autofocus, and you'll want to turn the manual focus on. Focus distances vary on every lens, so you want to make sure that the camera can get fairly close to your subject for a close shot. These macro filters cost around $20 on Amazon, allow you to get a closer shot to your subject on just about any lens, as long as the rings are made to fit to the proper diameter of your lens. They degrade the image quality a tiny amount, but they're super helpful in a pinch. So you're going to need security. What I mean by that is that you have to secure your camera. Tripods are the way to go with this one. You can also build a cool little camera stand out of Lego for your DSLR, webcam, or your phone, which is great for some shots, but a solid tripod is going to give you the most security. Actually, on our YouTube channel, we have a tutorial for these tripods, so you can go check those out if you want. They're completely made out of Lego, and they're pretty awesome. We use this one right here. It costs about $100 from our local Best Buy, and it has served us well for many a shot over the years. Securing them on the corners is usually a really good idea, and will keep your base plate from moving around. Once you have secured down your set, you're ready to go. We suggest tethering your camera into some sort of frame grabbing software on your computer. We use a USB cable to connect our Canon DSLR into our laptop so we can control our camera with a certain software called DragonFrame. DragonFrame is a bit expensive, and you can get it for a little cheaper if you're a student, about $100 off. But if you're seriously thinking of getting into this craft, this is a serious tool for you. It is actually an extremely powerful software, but get started with whatever you have and start making something. Experiment around with it and Google questions that you have about your problems with these programs. There are plenty of excellent resources online for them. DragonFrame has a website online that gives a list of supported cameras and troubleshooting fixes for each camera. Stop motion is a sequence of frames played to give the illusion of motion or life to any object you are filming. How many frames per second you use will depend on your animation level and what animation style you want to bring to your film. We use 15 FPS for our videos. A lot of people will animate either 12 or 24 frames per second. In the world of animation, this is called shooting on 2s and 1s. Pick a lower frame rate to practice with and work up from there. The animation techniques that you use are vastly more important than your frame rate. You can follow these 12 principles of animation developed by the 9 old men. These principles still apply today, and mastering them will help bring your stop motion to life. A YouTuber by the name of Alan Becker has a video series on these principles, and it is by far the best and most comprehensive way to learn the 12 principles. There's a great article online by Karen McGinnis on www.boards.com. called Understanding 16 Types of Camera Shots and Angles, which gives some really interesting and helpful insights into these camera movements along with the information on camera angles. The final stage of production is exporting your film from whatever program you use, whether it is Stop Motion Studio, DragonFrame, or straight from your camera. Welcome to the next stage, post-production. In post-production, we will be editing our films together, adding sounds, effects, color, and dialogue. Imagine editing like taking your ingredients, mixing them all together, and putting it in the oven. All of these programs do essentially the same thing, but some of them do it much better and can be harder to learn. To start off, I want to introduce you to some software. These programs can seem daunting at first, but fear not, there are plenty of tutorials online for all of these programs. Adobe Premiere Pro is the editing program that we use. Premiere Elements is the cheaper alternative to the Pro version, and because of that, it is easier to learn and can do a little less. But for our purposes, served us well for the first few years of making stop motions. A great free option out there is HitFilm Express, which can be downloaded for free for both PC and Mac. I've never personally used it as I am very comfortable with the Adobe products, but I've read great reviews on it. For Mac only, you can buy either Final Cut Pro 10 or use the pre-downloaded iMovie program. The beauty of stop motion animation is that you are working with an empty slate when it comes to sound. The video that you import onto your editing timeline will be bare of any audio, and you must work from the ground up to make a great soundscape. We use the Blue Yeti USB microphone for our films, which is a great microphone, and it'll run you back about $150. So be sure that you have a pop filter of some sort like I do here, which helps get rid of those pesky plosive P's. We use a free open source software called Audacity. It's a great program and I highly recommend that you download it and try it out on Mac or PC. There are two options when it comes to sound in your stop motion. One, you can download sound effects online. There are free sound effects on freesounds.org that are recorded by regular people just like you and I and can be downloaded for free by anyone. And there are paid packs that you can purchase for some pretty sophisticated sound effects from sites like videocopilot.com for a few bucks. Just a few. For the second option, you can make your own sounds, which is highly preferable. You can either use a microphone like the Blue Yeti or use one of these Rode video mics that cost between $100 and $300 that can be plugged into an external audio recorder like this Zoom H1 that'll run you back about $100. You can also use just the Zoom H1 that has a microphone on it itself. So you can record sounds with these things for your movies, which we have done plenty of times for our own films, like Lego in real life. Adding music to your films can be a complicated endeavor, mostly because of copyright laws. You either have to pay a license to use your favorite Justin Bieber song in your film, the paid royalty-free music, or use free no copyright music. Kevin MacLeod makes some great tunes which are often used in Brick films, and we use songs from the YouTube channel No Copyright Sounds, which hosts a large variety of artists who post hype music super often, which can be used on your own videos as long as you credit them. We use a music program called Filmstro that has a library of royalty-free music and allows you to edit the songs in real time to your film, and it is fantastic. This program costs about $99 a year. A final option I didn't mention is making your own music. If you have any interest in this area, it can be a great way to combine your artistic talents to bring your film to life with music. Now that you have all of these separate elements I've talked about, it's time to add them all together. In your editing timeline, you are able to upload your stop motion files and start putting them in order. This is where a good storyboard comes in, because by this point, you may have forgotten the shot order. In the timeline, you are able to cut, splice, copy, paste, stretch, slow down, or speed up your clips to start puzzling them together in a film. Once in order, we can add any visual effects onto our film. Now we come to the end of the filmmaking experience. But as you'll learn very soon, the end of this stage is only the beginning of the next. You can now export your film and show it off to the world as you please. We use these specific exporting options for our films in Premiere Pro and can also be done in Premiere Elements, and then upload it onto YouTube, usually in HD, 1080p, or even 4K. If you don't have a YouTube channel, consider making one to upload your film to. It can be a great way to get feedback for your films and share it with family and friends. As you may know already, there's a rather large number of stop motion animations on the internet, and there are large amounts of people just like you who make them for a living. If you are interested in getting more involved in the stop motion brick filming community, there's a wonderful website by the name of bricksinmotion.com. that is a forum for brick filmers, with animators of all skill levels helping one another out with every aspect of the craft. There's also a LEGO stop motion club online called the Brick Filmers Guild that releases podcasts every so often on YouTube, where they interview professionals in the craft, and it is a great way to get insights into the world and business of stop motion animation. Keep making videos and involve your friends and family as well. Stop motion is a great way to make a film that doesn't cost a lot to make and can be tailored to almost any scope of vision you may have. Now this stop motion tutorial is just a small teaser of our full stop motion masterclass. We created a stop motion masterclass series with over 40 episodes of more tips and tricks from us on everything from where to buy Lego, more lighting techniques, more camera options, vintage lenses, a full dive into the software we use to create our animations, camera movement, practical effects, sound design, and much, much more. If you want to have access to the full course and much more on all areas of filmmaking from people who worked in the film industry, from acting to camera equipment to managing your own film business, then head over to tomorrowsfilmmakers.com and check out the full course. It's basically an online film school that you can do on the side of whatever else you're working at. Links in the description. We also just released 3 new designs for our merch, so check out our full line of clothing on our website. Links to that and our social medias in the description.